Here to discuss, civil rights attorney and law professor Avery Freeman and criminal defense attorney Richard Herman, both professors. May I remind you too? Hello. Okay, so Richard, you first. So if Don McGahn, the White House counsel, knew about these allegations of domestic violence but didn't act, does he face any legal issues as a lawyer?
Well, Frederica, Don McGahn finds himself between a rock and a hard place. With his legal education and his military background, he knows what's ethical, he knows what's legal, and he knows what is right. And on the other hand, he's confronted with a president, a narcissistic, fragile individual who acts like a child. So he has to temper what he tells the president, how he tells him, and how he interprets the law for him. Because clearly, now the president says allegedly he didn't find out about Porter until a couple weeks ago. And it just seems insane because McGahn knew at least a year ago. He was briefed by the FBI on this. He saw the pictures of the black eye when Porter beat the crap out of one of his wives. He even got direct phone calls from girlfriends of Porter. I mean, he had all this information. And then, and in any other administration, Fred, White House counsel under those terms would be terminated. But we're in a whole other world here with the Trump administration. One thing about McGahn, because he's been so close with Trump, not only in the campaign and in the presidency, he is a person of interest in the Mueller investigation, and it would be wise for him to lawyer up.
I don't know.
Yeah. So then, Avery, the FBI had this information, talked to the ex-wives, saw the photographs, as Richard is, reminding us. A girlfriend reportedly came forward and also said she was a victim of abuse. So when the president tweets out today that these are mere allegations and that people's lives are being ruined and that they should be given due process, what's your response to him from the legal perspective as to whether these allegations are credible, and if they should be given, this sort of attention, the photographs, and if those who are accused here, in the case of Rob Porter and David Sorensen, are they not being given due process?
Well, due process is a function and a basic when it comes to a court of law. We're dealing with the court of public opinion. The idea of this president, who has a record that is challenging concerning the rights of women, frankly, finds himself in a position where he ultimately, at least according to the Times, refers to Porter as bad garbage. I don't think he needed the adjective. But the bottom line is, which is he? Is he an honorable guy or is he bad garbage? What's interesting to me is I'm actually one of the few that's sympathetic to John Kelly, Frederica, because he was relying, among others, on Hope Hicks, who crafted the statement that Porter was an honorable man with integrity. Well, all he knew was what he was told. It is true, and I agree with my colleague that the White House counsel knew about Porter 13 months ago. And you know what? If you're guarding the president, Frederica, if your responsibility is to employ discretion and thought, given his record, the best thing he could have done is said, you know what, Mr. Porter, you're well credentialed. You can get a job on Wall Street. Thank you for your service, and get him the heck out of there instead of permitting this crisis to brew. That's exactly what happened here.
So Richard, is there an obligation from the White House counsel to do something more with allegations like this? I mean, is it strictly morality, a moral issue versus, a legal issue, even though as a lawyer, as a counsel of the White House, they know what to do with this kind of information? Or is it really predicated on the accusers? If they don't do anything with this information, if they're not pursuing charges, then there really is no obligation that anyone within the White House has.
There was a direct obligation on McGahn. Porter was denied National Security Clearance.
That's right. That's right.
Fireworks. Why?
Or they were given, or he was given interim clearance, is how it's being described. He hasn't. It wasn't denied. It's just that the White House didn't make it full. So it's interim.
Not the FBI, Fred. The FBI denied him, and he had an obligation in this interview to be honest
The FBI
and
doesn't
talk
grant
about
it.
allegations. Talk about allegations against him. If he failed to do that, he's going to have a problem. These women that came forward, Fred, right, you're entitled to do, Trump, you're entitled to due process. He never once said anything about what they went through. You know, maybe it's true, and, you know, he feels sorry for them. He never once said that. But the hypocrisy of Trump when Al Franken issue came up to post and tweet pictures of him, yet here, you know, no more, no more due process now. We need due process now. This is a man that was charged 19 times, a self-professed sexual predator and sexual attacker, Fred. What do you expect from him? He cheered on the neo-Nazis. He supported Roy Moore. This
legal.
administration is not dialed into reality.
No, all right.
So,
I mean,
so really quickly,
off.
Avery, you dispute all or which part of that?
Well, I mean, look, you want to assign significance to the women who accused Trump. That's legitimate. But to tie it all in, I think is troublesome when it comes to this particular event. The president was not sympathetic to the victims. That is true. But in dealing with Porter and what you do, on the one hand, he said, well, I wish him well. On the other hand, he says off the record, he's bad garbage. Again, at best, there's inconsistency. But bottom line is, and I must say this to you, your interview with Eleanor Cliff, just legendary Eleanor Cliff,
she's
teeing
fabulous.
this legal segment up was just breathtaking. So thank you for that. That was wonderful.
All right, Avery. Hey, you all are wonderful, and that's why we have you back every weekend. Always good to see you, Avery Richard.
Okay.
Thank you so much.